quality. You know, if I'm looking over towards the Mongols, if I'm looking over towards an Atox, if one of their players is noticeably absent, they generally stay that way unless, you know, maybe it's Blitz for the Mongols. He seems to be the only one who's got that on switch they can, you know, sort of flick at will.
Yeah, no, and good news for Cyclone as well is that Mercury and Mosea are looking sharp as ever. Some of the newer tools, I say new, but they've been with the team now for quite a while, and they have really impressed. They continue to do so earlier on already, and we'll have to dive straight into Cyclone's map pick in Inferno. Starting CT side, Lynn are actually poised with quite a lot of solid utility. Sorry, this is actually Lynn Vision's pick in the series. That's why Cyclone find themselves on this CT start.
Wow, they're actually holding on to this angle in their fall, and flashbang out forward as well. They're really hoping that Lynn would have taken some space, but Lynn instead waited for that flashbang to try counter it out, so advantage gained and plenty of time.
Damn, they're even forecasting the fact that they could have had the player just jiggling on the corner. That's what that double nade was set up for, but now smokes will go over towards this B site. There are two players here and nestled at the back of the bomb site, and those two players on A are yet to move a muscle. Mosea missing out on shot after shot, finally landing and connecting onto one of the heads, but Advent was already dinked, so just another victim in the B site. A 4-on-2 for this retake in the pistol. And they are not even going for it.
If we ever end up having, like, voice lines or specialized music kits in Source 2, I would love to have just, like, a saving thing. Just that, hey, if a team starts to save, like, I don't know, like 30 seconds before, if they can figure a way out to do that, just triggers the, they're saving, something like that. Yeah. Make fun of the people who are saving. Come on, man. It might be the right decision, but still.
No, I would hate that. Everything about what you said, I would hate that. Don't give players information.
I mean, after the round's over.
Oh, then that's different.
Yeah, like a music kit.
Ah, I see. I thought you were saying like an activatable voice line that we could do. Kind of akin to Dota.
Oh.
Which that wouldn't sound too
I do hope we
terrible.
get those two.
Either way, a nice solid take there from Lynn Vision. Got banana control, scaled in, used the H's to mitigate one of the angles, and just simply collapsed onto the Cyclone defense. They did save a couple of those pistols over, but it's a pistol round. Saving, there's a conversation to be had about whether that's even important. Mosea fighting right behind that Molotov, and G was ready for the challenge. The Molly didn't actually spread all the way to the back of the sandbags, so had there been an extra player there for Cyclone, could have been an angle gone overlooked.
Again, the amount of pressure that actually Lynn's still putting down on middle just for the Molotov or so is so high. Advent's flashbang peek forward won't find him anything. His aim is unfortunately not quite on the mark. Mercury can make up for it by picking up on the easy tenderized meat, but Knacker's demise is quickly traded away. Mercury gone, and Kaze, sure, he's here on the retake, but just a deagle and a smoke is all he has.
Yeah, a little silly there from Advent's point of view. The double flashes that they threw from coffins were actually just perfect. So you put another player in that position, they'd likely get two of those kills. Advent just flubbing the line. But Lynn will take it. Well, they are more than happy with the way these two rounds have panned out. Just B-side hits after B-side hits, and it's kind of started in the same way. Get an opening pick towards the top side of Banana, and just being able to culminate that in even more, even with the Advent counter-aggression. Been very non-stressful for Lynn, considering these are the two heavy-hitting Chinese squads in the region.
Now listen, Michael, the question about who's going to be starting off slower is maybe starting to be answered. Obviously, no gun rounds yet, but I was just
so
sort
early.
of theory crafting. Michael, is this something that we can call the tortoise race? If this matchup ever becomes iconic, just like, hey, slow starts for both teams, which one's going to start speeding up first? Is it the tortoise or the other tortoise?
I feel like you've, just inferring that, the first two rounds are already, there's a slow start for a cycle. It's like the people that have these massive dialogues about, hey, we don't know exactly how they built the pyramids, and so therefore they must have been
We
using
don't.
some advanced technology. Even though we do, it's just a lot of hard labor. So
Aliens.
they could-
Aliens did the hard labor.
or they built it into the sand instead. Oh god, some people have very creative imaginations. Y'all are so creative.
It's a fax.
The truth they don't want you to find out about.
Ooh, Jam Young. Space aplenty. But unfortunately, space is there because there aren't any T-side players. And westmelon has found himself one Kaze just waiting to die, which is a very uncomfortable feeling, I'll have you know.
Well, 3 rounds
Bullets all
gone,
around you.
and another round on the B-bomb site. Third time's the charm. First and second were
First
also
and second as
charming.
well, yeah. It's, wow, it's just, it's all the charm in the world.
Really love what you've done with the place.
Oh, Jam Young.
What?
He's adding a bit of redecoration to the interiors of Lynn Vision. Josea's also not too far off. Nice little dink with the P250. And at this point, if Jam Young wants to maybe just peek out and get a bit more damage in, this could be even more deaths to come through. No, westmelon finds a kill fast enough that they don't need to worry about retreating.
That was one of the things we noted when we saw Cyclone against Atox on Ancient, is that the one man that did start fragging for the Cyclone roster was, of course, Jam Young, where others had lagged behind. Noted a considerably slow start for players like Kaze, for example, who will have his hands on the AWP in this first proper gun round for Cyclone. Will be contested by G on the other side, though, so have to be careful that he does get the better of him. It does seem like they could be set up for a late round collision course, but it's all about how well Kaze does. Very wide angle over on Banana, and the Molotov will force him away from the fight. Advent started to cheat his rotate over, but now coming back as Kaze needs a little bit of help. No way. Oh god.
Peeking out. Oh my god, they're just so ready for this, but the problem is there's another nade to follow through. Doesn't go quite deep enough. Kaze will manage to stay alive.
Yeah, that's actually very fortunate timing for Cyclone. Lynn Vision were just starting to reconsider and reset back towards that A-bomb site instead. And as the flashes came out, that's why they had Zacher sort of hang around, seeing if he could punish. But surviving on 23 HP is enough that Cyclone can be somewhat comfortable in the setup that they still maintain. 3 players on A, and this boost for Jam Young is going to be a very strong position.
Well, the kind of time that's left, there's almost no way I'm actually dealing with it. There are 2 flashes, neither one of which will likely be used for this angle. Jam Young drops down, no flashes again on the fadeaway. Headshots there, and G's happy to close it out on his own teammate, always happy to assist. Mosea, however, is also going to be yet another casualty to G's hands. Now, bomb can be planted, but the problem is he's getting lower and lower, and as soon as he starts to commit, Starry will be put into a position where the CTs are likely going to want to push into him. Mercury moving forward. Starry with the Molotov out for short will give him some time to reposition, but there's actually a gap behind the Molotov. Kaze needs to be careful about how he plays with it. If it spreads the wrong way, then you know what? He could end up being nicked down. Position spotted. Advent in pursuit. Going out for the boost himself, and Starry is trying to reposition where he can, but all 3 players coming in from short, and G just needs to get the one. Starry, it's all up to him, but can he actually find any of these kills? Won't need it initially. Starry now pairing it together. A quick double, and they hold on despite a few team kills.
Yeah, lovely crossfire there from G and Starry in that post plant. You could see there was even a chance for Advent to pluck away Starry's position in from pit just because he got himself boosted flowers just outside of boiler. There was a real opportunity there, but the flash that was followed up onto short was really what threw a spanner in the works, and just from there on out, it felt like Cyclone didn't have a proper way to engage each of those fights separately. Starry was just such a nuisance, such a problem. Interesting Molotov towards the bottom of Banana, trying to mitigate potential deep B smoke. Would mean that the smoke would bloom further to the left and there'd be a gap on the right side that G could capitalize on, but this won't be a round in which CycLone can test banana. Real slow builder. And they're not going to
appreciate that about Lynn.
Yeah, and they're not going to have a good read on what CycLone have really gone for here. You know, a half buy where they've got SMGs and the like. This is, you know, it can be hard to read what weapon you're really dealing with in any given spot, and there are a lot of close range angles that can really exploit and put these weapons to good use. There could be a mag around the corner.
Yeah. Well, they're not going up against a Mongolian team, so maybe not quite. Choosing the right bomb site for now, but Jamyang playing from behind the smoke is flashed up early in, and position was already revealed. Mercury, however, is the one getting busy. I don't know how he managed to recover an AK in all that chaos, but and he did somehow. Finding up the double kill, and now it all sets things together for CycLone to come through with just a bit more economic damage. I don't think any of these guns are recoverable by the CTs unless they're able to deal with westmelon, which is not going to be an easy deal with his positioning being where it is. G is going to be largely irrelevant in these fights, and Zacker's one way just makes him all the more tricky to actually deal with. Advent creeping forward again, just looking for that AK. If he can find it, maybe there's a better chance in it, but westmelon is on guard, and the full ace. Sure, it's an anti-half buy, but it's an important one regardless.
Yeah, I mean, he was the first man into the bomb site. There were so many flashes, there was a smoke down at the front of the site, and he dove straight in. That's where Jamyon got caught off guard, because he tried to jump on top of the cold zero box, and then suddenly westmelon was behind him. So, if not for westmelon, this round could have really spiraled out of control, given that Mercury had found the one kill on his SMG in the apartments, got his hands on the AK, and was still just a constant threat. So, yeah, great stuff from westmelon to secure that round for Lynn Vision. Spray transfer was, I wouldn't say all that necessary, but just showing that he's still got the same chops. One of the things we used to characterize the CycLone core for was going for a lot of these stacks on CT sides. You see they'll always have very good reads on where their opponents were headed, but right now we're seeing a lot of bog standard stuff. Attack from G as well to punish Kaze. That smoke didn't provide full coverage. Oh, spam from Starry could have been sweet had it actually been a player sort of on that corner.
You love your ridiculous spams, Michael, but oh, Mosea just gets completely domed. Amelia. It looked like Mosea even might have had the advantage in that duel, but regardless, I guess the Molotov smoke was pretty much the same for both of them.
One of the things that will be done away with in the new version.
But the flames are so shiny, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to get distracted by them anyway.
That sounds like a skill issue. There's going to have to be some kill issues potentially here for Lynn Vision. 15 seconds to move into this A site. Jamyoung already finding one, but he's lost Kaze as his support, and there's westmelon to secure the site. So no problems. 15 seconds is all they need.
God, I really love that execute actually coming through, because westmelon has been so good in playing from pit. They decide that, you know what, we are actually not gonna deal with them. There's no chance for us to get this bomb down with the time that's remaining, so let's just throw smoke down. Now, coincidentally, it happens to be that Kaz is in behind that smoke, and with an op, there's no way for him to actually reposition effectively, because even if you're taking the corner angle, which you used to save on before, you're dead up for one kill. So when he's trying to, like, scramble his way outside, he just gets caught out, taken down, and it looks easy, man. Doesn't Zacher still die here? I feel like you take 65 damage from that angle.
I think you...
Oh, it's in the far corner. Never mind. I thought it was Vena Blunt.
Yeah, I mean, teams have... I think even with Vino, you might still be okay. Just barely. feel like 65 might just be enough. Either way, they ran the numbers. They got the abacus out, and it's all fine. He had more than enough. Oh man, money is really building up here on this Lynn Vision side. Only one that's really hampered is Starry, but everyone else is living life in luxury. 6 and 0. Cyclone have not had a lot to write home about. Constantly been in deficits. Not even a round that seems like it's kind of destined to fall into their hands that's been stripped away. This is one of their hallmark maps. Inferno is the map they choose typically to run against teams internationally. And Lynn are just seemingly like they're in full control at the moment.
Yep. There's so much utility that they have left of this B bombs that execute that's going to be coming through. It just makes these half by so... Where is that Molotov supposed to go? I feel like that might not be the right call. Regardless, Moseas found the first, and they're just hightailing it right back to the A bomb site. They've brought out rotations, but it's not like there's a lot of them. You still have to deal with Mercury available on the balcony, and he's got the AK, so it'll be very... Rather, the M4, so it'll be very hard to move past him. Op is watching out. It won't be enough. Damage is dealt, and Jamyung is there to trade as well. Kaze's rotation now present, and they've completely outcalled themselves. Zacher all alone. The 1v4 time aplenty, yes, but bullets not so much. Neither is his HP. Around the corner goes Jamyung, and playing with his food. We'll be happy to swallow soon after. First round on the board for Cyclone.
Yeah, and off the back of having these pistols instead, you're right. Just the fact that they lose one kill over towards B, they tuck tail and run back to that A bomb site, and they're just unable to deal with those two players that sit on top of the site, even though they got one of the kills into the apps player. It's the fact that Jamyung was able to keep himself alive and his teammates dealt with the rotation cutter in at the arches. There was just more than enough backup. Kind of a surprising way for a Cyclone to break through, but we've seen enough of a back and forth between the top teams in Asia. Rounds like this just tend to happen. I think we ran into a spell of bad luck when we even covered some European Counter-Strike when some players just kept on team killing one another for some reason.
God, dude.
It's not region exclusive. Like 6 consecutive days where it happened.
Every single game as well.
Yeah.
As in, Matt's not like...
Yeah, at least won a series.
Yeah. Well, in the meanwhile, Mercury has been a stable hand, and if he can find Starry, maybe he'd be promoted to a page.
It's like, huh, that was simple. Was there nothing else? Nobody else?
Like, it's generally harder than this.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm always dealing with like at least 2. I don't have to get a multi-kill? Oh my God.
Kind of a struggling start. He didn't know quite what to do with his hands anymore.
Ah, that's not a one-way.
Good nade, though.
Great nade, though.
Yeah, one-shot, headshot territory for these M4s. And Lynn don't exactly have much foothold over the other side of the map, so they'll have to go for a full beat commitment.
I guess Cities actually do still have a smoke if they want to chunk one down and just try and play around it on the bomb site. So there's going to be a slightly, rather a flashbang, not a smoke. I don't know how I misread that. Rotation from Mercury comes through, and he's gone and found another one of the lower players. Flashbang in. Mosea's just spamming through Mercury, and the meanwhile is just having a good time. Now that CT smoke is down as well, Amelia knows that he needs to prioritize that duel, and sure, he'll find it, but with 8 seconds? Yeah, there's no way this bomb plot actually materializes. He's even taken his hands off of it, and Jamyung swings out to put him out of his misery. Cyclone getting 2 on the board.
Yeah, that looked a little bit discombobulated, but having that third man on the Cyclone side to make sure that spawn was not really an issue. They're even, I think, a little confused about whether or not this was a fake from Lynn Vision, given it was about that 45-second mark when they threw the nades, and there was no kind of follow-up noise made by any of the T-side players. They kind of waltzed their way in, but once they realized they had good counter utility and just solid shooting. So Lynn, they had amassed quite a decent amount of cash from their earlier successes, winning 6 straight, but now they've broken through to their reserve funds. This will be a round in which they pull together a decent buy, but the next round could be easier should Cyclone continue their successes.
Lockdown cause is missing now. He's even missed his movement. This is massive, but somehow he's still alive. westmelon comes out of the blue. Action movie scenes right here, and unfortunately seems like Cyclone are the villains.
Well, this, I think most teams would save in this position. You know, your anchor player, your AWP has been found so early on into the round. It's just, yeah, you're too late to the party. Ideally, you have somebody there to throw utility, maybe even do HE damage to the planter, something of the sort to incentivize yourself. But yeah, Cyclone were just too far away, and that's a big mistake from Kaze. Someone that's typically, I think, even in the era of, you know, Dan King versus Kaze as the two sort of best AWPers in the region, Kaze I think always had the edge over Dan King on this map because of how well he navigated the map. You know, he very rarely bumped into corners, always had a good fallback pattern.
Hit the easy shots.
Yeah, and it's kind of exactly what you want on this kind of a play style, but yeah, that's one of those uncharacteristic mistakes where he kind of gets ahead of himself, doesn't realize that he's a little kind of too far forward to just jump back into the first oranges. Matters were even made worse, I think, by the fact that the smoke had just bloomed front side sight, or was about to bloom, and he even collided with the side of the smoke as it was about to pop. I don't know. Not a lot going right for him in that moment.
A lot of flashes on the ground.
Gotta appreciate, though, Lynn actually attacking the bomb site in the sort of opening 45-50 seconds in the round as a result of having that SMG, just being able to make full use of it by changing the pace up.
Starry is making a fair bit of noise over towards apartments. He's completely giving up his position this time. Meanwhile, Mosaic has taken the opportunity to start to get a little bit more aggressive closer into Banana. Now, this is where I'm curious about whether we actually see Cyclone try and go for, I don't know, maybe a flashbang down middle, go for a slightly more aggressive play. Doesn't seem like G is going to be the man to initiate aggression. Kaze almost getting caught out. The Molotov is good, so Jamyang's position given up as well as Kaze's being forced to give up the angle. Cyclone got some really good control right now across the map. There's no one who's been allowed to move forward. Finally, Banana's given up, and somehow Advent's gone down with it.
The timing was so good on that call to push through that smoke from Lynn Vision. They took a healthy amount of damage as a result of Advent spam, but he let his guard down. He spammed those bullets. He wanted to just back off, give up Banana, and Amelia catching him on the back end of it. As a Zach are weak. But having that man advantage, westmelon even making use of the gap in the smoke. They'll creep on in. Mosaic, oh my goodness, G there with the perfect cover. But westmelon has hit the deck. Kaze, a nice shot through the edge of the coffins, and Emilia will also follow suit. So it's still 3 versus 3, and Kaze maintaining some position.
Fantastic stuff from Kaze. 3 kills already. But the problem still will be, you do have Zachar just covering off CT, so now it has to be aggression through, and G's intercepted. Perfect bullet again. The cover just looks to be fantastic, and Zachar's taken out Mercury. Jamyang, I don't know how he dares expose himself like that there after already losing a teammate, but maybe expecting G to have repositioned. behind the coffin. But no, nothing of the sort will have transpired.
Yeah, I mean, great shooting from G. He gave his AWP over to Zacher, and, you know, a little nod between them. They understood what they had to do. G hitting some lovely shots on the AK too.
Oh my god. I'm gonna give a spoiler, guys, for the other game, so in case you know, don't want to listen to it muted.
What's happened?
Mongols is up 12-0.
Oh.
Yeah, Zacher, however, he's found Mosea. So, you know what? How are they up 12-0? Oh, okay, all of them are fragging now, except for Blitz.
They might have the same conversation looking it over at our game. If Lynn continued the good times, it could be an even deeper scoreline so far in this T half. Lynn Vision already poised up for a 9th round. Kaze in the back of the site and will get found on a trade. There's only those 2 B players that remain, and it's another call to save. Lynn Vision, this is a 9th punched in, and as much as they are in a position where they can hunt, we just haven't seen Lynn that interested.
And yet, Cyclone's economy is still very far down under, so you know, there is also that, I guess. Also, you know, I will just say, Michael, the turtle race has come out with Cyclone having the slow start.
Yeah, no, I suppose so.
I think it's maybe more fitting for the Cyclone Turtle title, just like on a slightly serious note, because you can see how they play the CT side, right? Like, this is actually a lot more banana aggression than sometimes we'll see that from them when they're getting nervous. So it's good to assume that their mental is still probably fine. But we really aren't having too many points of early round or even like early mid-round aggression at all. The only attempts they've had is like the flash peek out from coffins into banana. There's been no attempts down middle. What the most aggression we've seen near brackets is Mercury being inside boiler, and then Starry just turns his back to him.
Yeah, it's odd because I think I seem to have this memory of Mercury peeking banana. I don't know if he's typically the 3rd man there, or if it's just off of a spawn that he would do something like that. But you know, we've seen rounds before where Jam Young or Mercury is, you know, fighting top car, kind of ready for them to take banana control. And you know, this is maybe one of those games where you wouldn't do something like that. I think, you know, Cyclone fully understand and respect that Lynn Vision are sort of the next best team after them. But right now, maybe that narrative is the other way around. They're both in a very similar spot in terms of the upcoming tournaments they have to play. And Lynn, since their IGL transition with the younger guys, just looks like it has, funnily enough, just like an extra sharp tool that they can use.
Yeah. And really impressive. Oh, Zacher. Taken down by the Molotov, but not before he finds a frag of his own.
It is decent. But Advent shouldn't really stick around. Mercury doesn't seem that willing to sort of join him on the corner. Was actually just positioned with flashes in hand. Maybe the fact that Moseo was willing to take that fight, take that peek. It was raised some alarms here for Lynn. We kind of get what we ask for in him taking that opening fight. You see how information-starved Cyclone are going to be by the time they realize what's coming.
I'm just curious about what Starry's move is, to be honest, because there's 35 seconds left. He's got a smoke down, but it seems like it's kind of obvious that there's just one player over there, but now he's still making a bit more noise. They're muted over towards his B-bomb site. Mercury, there's a gap in the smoke, and it's a big one. However, it's actually one they're able to exploit. Emilia takes a lot of damage before finding the kill, though, and with Starry falling elsewhere, there's 15 seconds. It's all G. Tech 9 closes the distance. Bomb can be planted, and with the op, he could find the first kill on Dakaze pretty early on if he'd like to, but instead prioritizes the banana duel, and he's just managed to escape. Jamyang might not know he's coming over, but he's definitely worried about it. Now G Even Kaz's position is given up. And G's got the Tech 9 advantage. That's going to be massive, not to mention the gap in the smoke. This is everything. Kaz is just going to be giving up his life where G realizes that the cross has come through. And now peeks out straight to the head. G's got it all done on his own.
Oh my goodness. A full 1-on-3. And sure, he knew exactly where one player was positioned, but the projection on how the CycLone players were going to be approaching that retake was, I mean, exceptional. He didn't miss a beat on any of those shots. He was so in tune. That actually might be one of the top 5 rounds I think I've seen from G on the AWP. Just how quick he hit those flicks. I mean, just masterful stuff. And CycLone did everything right, aside from, I guess, splitting up in that retake. That's that extra sharp tool. G is that newest addition. And you can maybe understand why Zacher let him have it.
One way smokes a little bit early. Mercury, though, can't do anything about it. Starry's already in the bomb set and in their heads. In more ways than just one. Anyways. Don't go to the fire.
Yeah, probably not a good idea. It is nice to have a few metals in your diet, but I feel like CycLone are already over the daily limit. They have been getting rocked, rolled, and even the rounds that have looked like they could have an advantage, now we've had rounds where they have had them stripped away. G trying to safeguard that rifle that was dropped inside of the apartments. You'll be able to ferry that away. In fact, westmelon just took his place. Said, okay, well, he thinks you've fallen back, so time for us to have fun. Starry does die to the bomb, which is unideal. That's that Vino plant.
It's okay, man. He got his kills.
Yeah, and they're back to swimming in cash, so... There was that one moment, you know, the one tipping point where they could have been reset, but...
Speaking of tipping points, Mongols versus Atox didn't get to a tipping point. It's 14-1.
Well, they didn't get 16-0'd, so... That's step 1.
I don't know if there is a step 2. Oh, flashbang. Forces off the off, and no damage actually to be dealt by the Molotov. It only serves to separate Zacher. But listen, man, Zacher's more than happy to be separated and go looking for picks. We've seen that in Anubis earlier on.
I'd say, you know, being a dark player is a little bit more, you know, you've got a bit more element of surprise, and it's a bit more of a sneaky angle. Inferno doesn't have that secondary position unless you find your way through CT somehow.
We've seen westmelon do some pretty crazy, like, just timing-based pushes through and find a few great kills at the site. But yeah. Advent's going to be working off of a flashbang. Starry is down already. Advent moving past the smoke, but he doesn't realize that westmelon is also flanking in. So you're talking about pushing through CT, and maybe this is his time to find out about it. Advent still finally now revealing himself and even getting a little bit more damage. Kazi somehow got on a blind no-scope onto westmelon. This is a chaotic round.
Yeah, I don't think CycLone played that the way they do it in scrims either. You know, that's one of those rounds where there's so much happening simultaneously. You know, Advent was inside of the smoke in CT, and all he did was tell his teammates that someone has gotten past me. I do think they had that information that someone was wrapping in through the construction, but Advent still locked out the main avenue into the B-bomb site and was just being a total menace behind those smokes as well, so... Not exactly a standard way you'd hold the B-bomb site, but CycLone are more than satisfied with the results. That was not the result they were looking for, though. A flash play to peek into Banana, and they go 1 for 1. Mosea had a pretty good series earlier against Atox, but struggling to get engaged. Had a couple of chances at fights, but actually, I don't even know if I'd put it really on him that he's not been hitting his shots. I think the Lynn Vision side have just been very, very sharp.
And it's hard to hit your shots if you're always just waiting for them to come into you, right?
Yeah. I mean, even in that moment, you know, he was, what, 60 HP by the time he took a duel because he tanked a bit of nade damage, so wasn't exactly to his advantage. 45 seconds in the last round of the half, though.
Flash timing is really not going to matter too much, even if Starry is completely blind. The push is going to be very labored as it starts to come through. Starry still revealing his position, and he's been the solo man so many times. Jamyang drive by bomb drop. And now he's waiting. Bomb dropped again. Jamyang keeps it going. Is this the fourth for 5yclone to come through? westmelon will find one, but it seems like 4 is destined. Starry all alone, forced off by so many pressure points, and it doesn't seem like he'll have anything to offer. 11-4, and we've got to find out what the 5yclone have got more to offer in that second half after this short break.
So hard to let go. Take a chance, touch the sky, and you might just like what you find. Let's risk it all, put it on the line. Go and spread your wings. Let's find out if you fly. Let's find out if you fly. So hard to let go. Take a chance, touch the sky, and you might just like what you find. Let's risk it all, put it on the line. Go and spread your wings. Let's find out if you fly. Let's find.
Fourth round found for CycloNe, but that doesn't mean they're out of hot water. In fact, I think the pot is still very much at boiling point. Question is, can Lynn Vision close out on the CT side? We're starting to see Zacher getting aggressive over to apartments, but he's realized quickly there's a party coming his way, and he wants no part of it. He is an early sleeper. Wow, look at these rotations.
Yeah, fully convinced. Fully biting down on the idea of this being an A play, and the bomb is still sat T steps. Someone yet to go back and recover that for CycloNe, but they are probing towards the brackets, and with the extra reinforcements, Lynn are ready to challenge. Emilia already dropped.
Question though is, do they oh wow, they don't even need to start rotating back to the B bomb site. It's westmelon now tagged down to 4 HP. Does find a few pot shots through, but 2 is all it'll be. Bomb gonna be planted on B. And westmelon now has to deal with the double swing of death. Jam Young doesn't even need the second.
Even just jumping around for that final kill. Got him mid-air. I mean, considering there were 5 players in position there for Lynn Vision, it was... I mean, it kind of blew up in their face. CycloNe hitting some nice shots, but they were actually not in a good enough spot where players could sort of peek off one another. There'll be one person peeking for information, and then they were all on more traditional angles, and CycloNe never let their guard down either.
Well, those nades are finding nothing, and I feel like these 5-7s might not be either. Especially with position reveal. Listen, if you start to run back to A, hoping that they've assumed that this is a stack on B, I would like it, but I don't think it works.
Yeah, that's something that's tried a lot at low-level play. You know, even, you know, intermediate main, that's some kind of position where you can get away with stuff like that, but yeah, they won't try for it. Emilia even just fighting deep and actually hitting follow-up headshots. Okay, I mean, after Mosea, I thought that was all he'd be able to accomplish, but the follow-up utility seemed good enough that he got more room. G is still here alone, though. No one's made a move away from A.
They're not even pushing down mid. G doesn't need help. G is a one-man army. This army is retreating. That is, you know, it is calling for backup, but it is an army. 4-on-2, they've realized that this round should be in the cards for them. Not just in the cards, but maybe even favor. You can see westmelon going for the wraparound. He's got the MP9, so the upgrade to a Galil is really all he can hope for, but taking his time about it. Second player yet to reveal themselves. Mercury is on the bomb site, but doesn't actually catch the player moving over. G's Deagle continues to strike in. They've managed to delay long enough for the swing to come out from westmelon. Double Galil saved as well as the round. CycloNe end up giving it up to Emilia, man. Those double kills from the 5-7 are beautiful.
Yeah, and G's 2 kills as well. Just as important. I'm surprised it went as well as it did. I'm sure they are as well, but yeah, you might win the pistol, but follow-up rounds can be quite difficult when they're hitting some nice shots. Well, CycloNe humbled. That should have been their opportunity to start to close in on that gap, but now they have to think about force buying themselves. And I kind of appreciate the way that they've gone with this buy. Getting a couple of the Galils out, but still having enough utility that they can have options in the mid-round. I would, given the game that they've been having, obviously I've preferred Mosea and Jam Young to maybe swap guns. Mosea has been trying to take space as well, very frequently with the pack, but not really going in for entries. Less to do with their form and more just basically how they're playing.
Form also does, you know, have to be considered.
It has an influence, but, you know, I think there's just an argument to be made just based on the way that they play. Jam Young's typically a late round kind of player.
Except on Nuke, where somehow he manages to get into hell every single time. All the position from Starry, they don't have too many flashes and he knows it. How much can you really even do? Mosaic crosses over. Starry unpeaks again, just Quick work for both the Galils and a flashbang to follow down the smoke as well. Galil is recovered, but really there's not much for it to do. Again, boost is good from G, and he will find the first, even stays for a very long time, getting the second in the process, drops the bomb as well. So 1 on 5, Jamyoung. That Mac 10 late round is about as useful as all of the other weapons they bought.
Yeah, I think both players kind of overstaying their welcome on the angles, to be quite honest. You know, even just the way that Zachar was, he didn't have to move his crosshair basically in apps. And then just G hanging around. They're getting away with quite a lot in these positions. You even call back to that Amelia 2K with the 5-7. Like, he shouldn't get more than one, really, in that position. But it just feels like that kind of a game. CycLone, I don't know. They just don't seem as in form as Lynn do at the moment.
I'm gonna be worried for CycLone if they end up matching up against Mongols like this. Advent, though, in the meanwhile, found a gun, tossing it back, and Amelia is tossing them all down. Amelia, 35 bullets on the Galil, and he's putting every one of them to use.
I mean, Mosaic just has no armor. Threw that smoke down, but unless he uses it to get a plant in, it's very unlikely that he actually comes away with anything more in this round. But with so much time on the clock, he's also still concerned about the fact they're close enough by to challenge. And he does bait Zachar out into the open duel, but that's where that lack of armor does really come back to bite him. A 14th round here for Lynn Vision, and Amelia saving what could have been at least a plant, maybe more members of CycLone alive to make use of those guns. Instead, that 4K, enough to allow Lynn to just continue building cash.
Lynn builds cash, Amelia builds his frag movie. Yeah, it's all good. Three players early out towards the B side, and look at how CycLone are prioritizing second mid, but so very late. Jamyoung is going to be very far removed from the rest of his teammates, and if a grenade will be meeting him here, that would be a good timing. No, he's moving out past the smoke. Flashes are great. Starry fully blind, and Amelia's no better.
Starry got lost. Tried to track while he was flashed up and couldn't make heads or tails of where his aim was going. But yeah, I mean, a nice little change up here from CycLone. Wasn't exactly the most map control oriented start. They only had those two players inside the apartments, but the flash is tailor-made to get Jamyoung out from the apartments. It's enough room. So it's sometimes just as simple as that on Inferno, especially the way the meta's developed over the past couple of years, I guess 3rd year running. You lose players one side, you save. And it's just how the cookie crumbles.
It does feel like Lynn Vision are just teeing up for the inevitable, though. CycLone at this point, morale is what you're playing for, and then once you've got that, hey, maybe there's a chance for a grand comeback, but I'm not counting any chickens. Oh, there's two right there, actually. Never mind, I am counting.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of set yourself up for failure there.
Scope down middle, G. I do like this. When I do press, well, there's only two players here. It's always a fun thing. westmelon has found Mosaic in the meanwhile. And G's got so much information down middle that they know all they have to be worried about yet again is back in apartments.
Yeah, kind of curious just how Mosaic was so separated on that attempt past the smokes on Banana. Didn't have follow-up flashes or nades on the corner to even deter a player from peeking into him, so seems like a very separated play. As a result of that, they find themselves in this deficit. Not a great place to be when Lynn are already sat at 14. Smoke in towards those archers, and it will force G back a little further at the very least, but they have chewed off more than a minute out of the round already. Should be simple pickings here for G. They're prepping to go through as his smoke fades.
Oh no, he's missed a shot! Shutters on the aim, and with that, the A-bomb side is very much open for business. Zacher hidden away inside Graveyard. Needed to find more. All he gets is death, and sure, Starry delivers the one. But it's nowhere close to enough. 5yclone, the very fast A-take working out for them, all of the back of a tremor in G's hand.
Yeah, I think he might have just gone jump scared. In all honesty, he was prepared for that fight. His aim was in the right spot, and he flicks off. And I'm not really sure what happens, but it just looked like he got scared. Like someone jumped out of the closet in a horror film. That's the first domino, and that sends the whole house on this A site crumbling down. So again, these are maybe not the most reliable circumstances, but ones they'll take every day. Jamyong even staying alive, 2 HP, evading that bomb radius. Does mean that they keep that magic number of 3 players alive. And listen, so long as Lynn Vision don't end up on 15 too quickly, there's always that chance that you might even still win this map. And you've got to keep that hope alive.
Yeah, 14-10 is where you really start to have maybe a little bit more belief in Advent, saying, yeah, guys, we can come back. Or whatever the Mandarin equivalent would be.
Yeah, I don't know, what was Mosaic looking at? His name was in the sky. Looking for a smoke to have bloomed or have been thrown. Might have been a possible solution.
Wait. It's been dodged, and they've actually moved very far in. This flashbang will be dodged as well. Mosaic not affected by it at all. Westmelon is gone.
I had a lot of confidence in that flash to clear out Banana, but not enough players blinded by it, and they are leaving Emilia to his own devices. Once again, if Westmelon's fallen, Emilia receives no backup. But maybe he doesn't need it. 2 kills found, and very nice stable hand on each of those fights has brought them a man advantage, and this retake is on. They have conceded the site, and that bomb can go down, but they have a decent amount of utility to contest this.
Emilia's got an incendiary. That changes everything. You can't try and play towards the back of the bomb site because of this. Especially if they end up lining up an incendiary for Secret where there's 2 players. Do they have a smoke? No, they don't. Emilia will be just using this to clear out New Box, a smoke back to Secret, forcing these players away, but now they're out in the open. First one to fall. Zacher looking for more, will connect, and Kaz is now revealed his position. And inside the smoke, he's trying to maneuver, but it will not be enough, despite the early pickup that they do get. Fantastic work from Emilia, just ends up giving them the 15 regardless.
Yeah, and even in that Kaze 1 versus 3, Emilia was just hunting through that smoke, knew exactly where Kaze had to be with his knife drawn. But G's the one that sort of seals in the flavor. I mean, honestly, just fantastic stuff. Starting 4 versus 5, Emilia had to pull in a multi-kill, and he didn't even go traded. You know, he found those 2 kills and just simply waited because he knew he'd done enough.
Even the fact that he doesn't use his incendiary to try and deny the bomb plant is just very nice for me to see. Hey, I'm not going to panic. I'm going to focus on the retake. I know that they can't go into CT. I know I'm very chill about that. If they go back to Banana, we've got smokes to block them out. We're good.
Yeah, he effectively shielded the rotating players. You know, when you lose both players on B too quickly, there's actually just a chance that those rotates could get siphoned off either deeper in spawn, or they could have somebody in construction, for example. So him just staying alive there just shielded all of those players for the rotate so that they could just set up for all of the smokes and util. And actually, you know, hats off to whoever threw that smoke that landed into dark. You know, like next to the pillar in the dark, because that was right on top of where they wanted to play a couple of their players in the post plant.
That's one of those things where you learn the lineup and you're telling your ideal now, I'm telling you this is going to be useful.
Yeah, it's niche, but it was so well used in that round.
Start holding on. The flashbang, though, forces him away. A little bit slow from Jamyang on the peak, but I do like the flash.
What was the fear? You wanted to keep them away from 15 before you were up to double digits at the very least. Now they have to be flawless from here on out. 8 straight just to push us into an OT.
4 players on this A-bomb site. westmelon is mighty comfortable here on B, and with a smoke down, they're already past it. Mosaic will find the crucial frag. This has not allowed them to get rounds in the past, let's not forget, and especially with the kind of commitment that's still here on this A-bomb site. But the bomb is not actually committing to it. It's rotating back towards B. They've been burnt before, though, so they aren't ready to commit too quick. They want that CT smoke, and Kaz is the one who has to deploy it.
Now this is an awkward spot where Lynn have just gambled. They've doubled down on the idea that this is just a secondary pump to an A-side assault, and now that they realize that all his util sailed out over on B, they are just saving. There should be no reason for them to do anything more than hold on to these guns, because they don't exactly have a built-up economy. CycLone were actually dictating some of the flow for a couple of rounds in this half. And I kind of admire. You know, they've got a lead. They know that they can make some snap decisions, and if they get to in their heads about whether or not it could be B, oh no, we lost westmelon on that side of the map, then the situation goes from bad to worse in, I think, most instances. If CycLone just had the numbers there to overwhelm one solitary B man, it's very unlikely that you successfully hold. Just nice map control from CycLone. Nice spread assault. They found the one weakness in westmelon.
I've also just started to look at the kill distribution because no one's hit 20. Even in such a dominant game. It's very even. Outside of Starry, everyone sort of averaging 16.
Yeah.
How many even for CycLone, their top performers are averaging 16.
There ain't quite as many of them.
Maybe that's the problem. Lynn would love to average 16 rounds as well over here. Across the series.
See, now if we end up in overtimes, then that math gets skewed.
It's called a monkey's paw, but hey. You've got Amelia lining up the flashbang this time for westmelon once again, but mid's where the aggression comes in from. That's what I love to see. Haven't really had too much of that, especially on the CycLone camp, and they're caught off guard. G, up at the ready, gets the flick as well. Even holds on, knows that there probably shouldn't be more players around. Jamyang's a death. That generally doesn't really get followed up the same way. I'm sure Advent has gotten some more control back inside the brackets, but it will not matter. The B-bomb side is their only hope, and even that hope is so limited. Rotations have come through. Emilia is ready with the smoke to cordon off Banana, and it does indeed start to come through. Emilia even considering pushing forward. Flashes will not matter. Emilia knows these players are separated. Kaze's only got the one. westmelon still alive at the back of the bomb site. Time ticking down, and Zacher can just push through and shut them all down. 16-8 Lynn Vision dominates CycLone.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic work on that Inferno. It felt like everybody was firing off, having individual rounds of brilliance, whether that was players like Amelia on some of these holds, or whether it was players like G pulling off 1 versus 3s.